marketing and media relations here. And so we actually have two facilities. This building here, which is our main museum, where people come and visit. And then we've got another building on the Gatineau side, where we keep all of our, the real natural history collection. It's mostly Canadian, because we obviously being Canadian and the Canadian National Museum, we specialize in Canada. Mostly Canadian. Our centers of excellence are in Arctic research and in species discovery. A bit later, you'll see it's mostly everything from minerals. We have the world's oldest rock here, to mammals that are taxidermed in dioramas, meteorites, dinosaurs, of course. The bird gallery is closed right now because we're moving it, but we've got taxidermed birds. We have a whale skeleton, a big one, in our water gallery. So that's the kind of stuff we have. So the building opened, I think it was actually 1910, 1912, 1913, the dinosaur exhibit was opened. It was Canada's first dinosaur exhibit. So it was opened to commemorate Queen Victoria. The building's called the Victoria Memorial Museum Building. And this glass tower, which was replaced, when the building was reopened, it was opened by Queen Elizabeth. So it's dedicated to the two queens, Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth. So it's called the Queen's Lantern, that glass. 1916, we're coming up to 100th anniversary of it. February 3rd, 1916, the Parliament buildings burned down. It was the Great Fire of Parliament. And within a day, because it was in the middle of the First World War, within a day they moved all, like the House of Commons and the Senate, down here to this building. So this building functioned as Parliament from 1916 to 1920. So it would have been Prime Minister Sir Robert Borden then, with Sir Wilfrid Laurier as leader of the opposition. And Sir Wilfrid Laurier died in 1919, and his body was in state here in our atrium. Experiences people have had here, and I had to kind of read up on it because I didn't know. But it really boils down to, I guess, a couple of things. Usually it's people feeling or sensing that somebody's here, so that somebody's in the room with them, that they're being touched on the shoulder or that kind of thing. There have been some experiences where it was described as a stone mask. So an artifact which would be a native mask that in a sealed case kept changing direction. So it would be facing east, and then the guards would come and the next day be facing west. And then they'd open it and move it around, and then it would turn around again, that kind of thing. There have been some experiences of seeing a jacket. So again, it's a native jacket, and they saw it moving, that sort of thing. We've got actually somebody still on staff who had an experience and said she'd be willing to talk to you once she gets off work at 5 if you want. She sensed or saw, she said, sort of looked like a mist in a human form, and it moved and went right over her shoulder. She said, like, came right through her, like over her, and she said she felt a cold feeling when that happened. She also experienced in a different part of the museum, our kind of what's now our group entrance. She was training another security guard. She was a security guard at the time, and she saw she said a shadow, but a very visible kind of shadow, move through a wall. And the security guard in training that day also saw it with her and refused to work here as a result. Said that was weird. Some of the folks that have kind of talked about it before kind of said, well, the museum's like a big old castle. It's got a history, and most castles have a ghost. So why should we be any different?
He was working at designing the building when basically the front tower crumbled and whatever, he jumped. But his family has disputed this claim, stating that he died at home. I think it was like intestinal, ulcerated intestines and all that. It was internal. To me, who knows? Could his spirit be here? Plausibly, he designed the place, but he also designed about 45 other buildings, right? So he was a prolific architect, but maybe this is his baby. Who knows, right? And now, mind you, over the years, this building would have had, obviously, a number of people going through it. Who knows? Somebody else could have died here. Or, we could be talking to the spirits of animals. So if you get a nice big roar, it could be a T-Rex. Which would be the first time I've ever had a dinosaur EVP. So go after it, guys. A dinosaur EVP would be really great.
What kind of dinosaur are you?
What kind of dinosaur are you? So whoever here can actually speak that language, any reptilian in the room? Talk to us, I really appreciate Carolyn, are you trying to get a hold of me?
No, I think it's left right now.
Okay, shortly we might need to change the privacy setting on it. We'll see. Okay, so we're getting. Okay, so you got some K2 hits right there.
Right when you're on
It could have
the,
been when you were on the
take a
radio.
look. Yeah. So it's just my radio transmitting. Great opportunity there for a coaching moment to show that something like a radio or a cell phone, when a cell phone transmits a text message, it will set these things off. Now the K2 is obviously a really popular item in paranormal investigation. It's not a diagnostic tool in my opinion. It's kind of like an immediate result barometer. It's what we should be using it for, a barometer just to say, okay, maybe there's a reason now to ask more questions, or to look around the room and find a source of that. But unfortunately, again, that's something that far too many people take for Bible truth. So Soaring Eagle, I have to ask you again for your presence. All night long, you're going to hear us ask much the same questions. Maybe that will annoy you enough to speak up.
All right, so we are at the Canadian Museum of Nature in Ottawa, Ontario. It is Friday, January the 22nd, and I'm in the on the fourth floor with Shanna, Jason, John, Chris, and Dan, yes, and Mike. So we want to thank them for having us here this evening. It's an honor to be the first team to be allowed in to do an investigation at the Museum of Nature. There's been some interesting stories, but some experiences people have had here at the museum in different locations. People have seen apparitions, people have felt a presence watching over them. One woman has claimed to have seen a mist-like figure come at her and then shoot through her. So I'm just going to start by asking, do we have anybody that's here at the museum with us tonight? Can you tell us your name? There's a lot of really neat exhibits in the museum. Maybe you could tell me what your favorite exhibit is. Which one do you like to stay around and watch? Watch the children as they're just mesmerized by these exhibits. I would think this floor would get kind of mixed reaction from the children. I'm sure some of them think this is awesome, and I'm sure some of them just think this is really creepy.
We're down in a different exhibit in the museum, and if you were present here beforehand, this would look strange to you, we expect. Now, what's around us, however, there's different theories when it comes to, and it has been proven to a degree, about quartz, limestone, and other minerals that actually absorb energy. I know from a couple years, I taught martial arts, that if you're wearing a quartz watch, your arm actually gets weaker. It takes away your strength. So we do know that there is a field created with minerals and all the like. So in this room, is this possibly almost like a battery compartment? I would wonder that. How interesting would it be that if we have spirit life in this building right now, it might be drawn to this room due to the quartz energy and like that.
Notice there's some jewelry here.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if there's anybody here that has a connection to the jewelry. If there's this piece of jewelry that used to belong to you, you're still connected to it, let us know. Is this something you took pride in donating to the museum to show off what you had?
You got a good start there. Can you ask the same question in French?
In français?
Le gars, il voulait savoir s'il y a des bijoux que tu as donné comme donation sur le musée qui appartenaient à toi. Est-ce que c'est possible de te montrer? Parce que là, il voulait savoir parmi ces bijoux, est-ce qu'il y a un qui t'appartient? Est-ce que tu peux te montrer, s'il vous plaît? Il est là, il t'attend, il veut ta réaction. Il veut que vous le montrez, si ça ne vous dérange pas. Parmi ces bijoux, est-ce qu'il y a un qui vous appartient?
If there is anyone here that has a connection, if you can come closer to this device, you'll make the lights flicker.
Si parmi vous, il y a quelqu'un qui est proche, est-ce que vous pouvez vous rapprocher de cet instrument pour vous montrer, s'il vous plaît?
Is it possible that you're not even a spirit that's passed on? Is it possible you're actually a different plane of existence that's investigating us? The thing is that we investigate paranormal, right? So,
What was the name of the architect?
David Ewart.
David Ewart.
Right, so we're in a cave.
Yay!
It's not a real cave. Luckily for the girls, we don't like bats. The bats in here are fake. But just for the audio, we're going to hear a little bat noise in the background every now and then,
Yeah, it's a little squeak. And trickling water.
and trickling water. All right, so we might have a case of pareidolia here, right? Remember? It's amazing sometimes what these noises can create and what we can hear because of it, right? So, I would kind of wonder if spirit is here, would they come in here because it's just interesting? Because it feels protected. It's not
There's the squeak.
wide open. It's not like a huge room with all kinds of exhibits. It's almost like it's dark, but it's kind of a little protected hovel. Feels very Lord of the Rings. This isn't hearsay. You worked here. You walk these halls, and I don't know how often these displays have changed. Can you tell me, just so we can verify it's you, Heather, what's your last name? All right, so we've had a bit of a quiet night so far. I guess we're going to get into one of our last sections and see if we get any more activity. We have the spirit of anybody who may have worked here. Heather. Quite possibly, Dave Ewart. We'd like to have a bit of an example of you being present. A lot of noises in this wing down here, so if you do speak to our audio device, please do so a little louder. Or
set off the lights or use the lights in that here. But over there is Sandy, over here is Sydney, and they're holding devices that make film. Now, film you'd be familiar with. But these cameras see in the dark. So if you want to pass by, make yourself known, make a noise, laugh against something, we appreciate it very much. We appreciate some level of physical involvement. Tug on one of our shirts. We often are told here that we museum children's voices. There are children's voices here. This is what we were told by the other team to keep our ears out for. The building is made of limestone. And there's, you know, the philosophy that limestone acts like a recorder. So does the limestone record the voices here, and can we possibly hear that on our audio? For our audio, just tag saying who's it opening for?
I don't know, I'm nowhere near it now.
Is there somebody with us now? If you are, okay, so the door keeps on opening. If you're with us now, continue. It's okay. Can you do other things? There's got to be a reason for it.
Don't move for a second.
Yeah, don't move.
Nobody.
Could be reflecting off
Hold on, Dave. One was moving.
What?
There was one person moving. Okay, don't move.
Continue with us here. Talk to us.
Has that happened before? Never?
Can you do something else?
That's got to be mechanical. There's a sensor. How close? 5 feet? 1 meter. 1 meter. Yeah.
1 meter?
Yeah, that's not. Might have a visitor.
Yeah, but the door was locked when we got there, right? Yeah, I had to swipe my card to get in, so the door was locked.
Oh.
Let me ask Control if you unlock it.
I think it's a malfunction.
Let me ask Control.
We're down the first floor of the museum.
Oh.
We're in this area because there's a report that this is the area where they were training a new security guard. They were in this area, and they reported seeing a black figure in this area. The trainee never came back.
Wimp. Wimp.
So if you were here that day, and it was you that she saw, can you make your presence known to us? Can you come out so we can see you?
I'm pretty sure I saw you over by the vending machine, over by that exit door. So why don't you come back through the exit door again? Come give us a visit. We won't be afraid, you're actually wanting to see.
I want to thank the Canadian Museum of Nature for allowing us to come into the building to investigate. We didn't get any solid concrete evidence in regards to EVP or anything on video. It's obvious, though, that one of our members, Shannon, happened to see something in the same area that your security guard and the other museum employee saw. And down around with the dinosaur exhibit, obviously, we happen to have
the situation where we had the doors opening and closing on their own. That was kind of strange. We did try to debunk it a bunch. Security guard had confirmed to us that you had to be within the distance and swipe it with your card. It just wouldn't go off like that. So, you know, I have to put that down as an experience to have, but unfortunately it doesn't create anything rock solid as to have evidence. It's a bit of a challenge for us at the investigation, just due in part the fact that it's all about exhibits. Nobody lived there. You know, I mean, the claims of the gentleman, Mr. Ewart, jumping off the building, we know are founded. So therefore, it's not a particular person we're looking at there. Experience-wise, also the native artifacts that were supposedly inspiring to the other events were no longer present in the building. Couple this up with the fact that the displays themselves were still on, so we still have a lot of ambient noise in the building. There were enough people there and cleaning machines going off and yada yada yada. There were a few things that even if we did get an audio hit, we'd unfortunately have to discount them due to the surrounding noises that existed. So we do want to thank you for us being there. I'm not saying that anything happened enough that I would say that the building is haunted. I would say that there were some interesting occurrences that did happen, that possibly a secondary investigation follow-up might be in the works or desirable. But again, I want to thank you for allowing my team in there. We had a great time, and hope to see you again there and or in some of your other facilities.